Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Sayidatun Nisa Sunjaya with student number 22/11/30/18 p.m. In this video, I want to make analysis short story with the title Is in the Spring by Guy the Maupassant. On the first line, we have a summary. This story began from the spring day. A young man set out to go sailing on a steamer, and then he meets a beautiful girl. Then they feel a connection. But suddenly, an unfamiliar old man who was a clerk in the Admiralty approaches him, forbids him from getting acquainted with the girl, warning him to be careful with love. The old man tells about his meeting with his ex-wife last year, when he met his wife on the ship and they married 3 months after knowing each other. He felt fooled because of love. He had given it all, but the woman instead exposed the disgrace of the household to the others, and the woman left the old man in the end. The writer felt sorry for the sad story, but he still wanted to talk to the beautiful woman. However, the old man restrained the writer, and the woman was so disappointed because the writer left her, and the old man asked the writer to admit that he had given his a good lesson. And then the next slide, we have a character. In this story, the authors not mention the character's name, but I found the 4 characters in the story. The first one is the main character is the young man. The second is the old man or a clerk in the Admiralty. And the third is neighbor girl. And the last is ex-wife of the old man. And then we have a characterization, the young man. The young man is a main character on this story. The authors describe the young men as people who fall in love easily, are patient in the face of ridicule, but easy to give up in love. The author writes, "And I remained standing motionless and furious, but without venturing to the face scandal and ridicule." And the next characterization is the old man. The old man is described by author as a clerk in the Admiralty, a person who likes to meddle in the other people's business, is ignorant of love, and likes to advise others. The quotation of this characterization is, "But first of all, I must tell you that I am a clerk in the Admiralty." "Really, monsieur? You appear to me to be interfering in a matter which is no concern of yours." And the next characterization is neighbor girl. Neighbor girl is described as stunningly beautiful woman with a small head, curly hair at the tips, with a pretty smile, and she was a charming girl. The author writes, "A little head with light curly hair, which looked like a shimmery of light as it danced in the wine. She smiled decidedly. She was charming and in her passing glance." And the last of characterization is ex-wife of the old man. Ex-wife of the old man is described as a beautiful woman, attractive, likes to gossip, and likes to spread household disgrace. The author writes, "She was decidedly pretty, but it is surprising, monsieur, how much prettier women seem to us. When the day is fine at the beginning of the spring, then they have an intoxicating charm, something quite peculiar about them. It's just like drinking wine after cheese." In the next slide, we have a setting place. The first setting is in the France. The quotation of the setting is, "I say that the French government told to put put large public notation the walls. And the second is on the steamboats or boats. Steamboats were starting for sureness. And the last setting place is Saint Claude. When the boat stopped, we were at a Saint Claude. And the next slide, we have a setting time. The first setting time is at first day of spring. The quotation of this setting is with the first day of spring. And the second is at the last year. It was about this time last year that it occurred. And the last setting time is one morning or in the morning. The quotation is, one morning on waking I saw from the window. And then the next slide, we have theme. The theme of this story is failed in love, because I found some romantic scene in this story. And after I read all the story, I conclude that this story is tell about the failed in love between the young man and the neighbor girl. It also tells about the failed in love the old man with the ex-wife. And the next slide, we have plot. The first plot that I want to discuss is exposition. The exposition in this story tells about the story begins on the first day of spring when a young man is sailing and meets a beautiful woman. And the next plot is conflict. The young man wants to get acquainted with a beautiful girl, but suddenly there is an unknown old man who wants to have an important talk with him. And the next plot is rising action. It tells about when an unknown old man warned him to be aware with love and restrained the young man from getting close with a beautiful woman. And the next plot is climax. The young man was annoyed and said to the old man that he meddled too much in other people's business. The next plot is failing action. The old man tells about his sad love experience with a woman he met on the ship, and he wants the young man not to fall in love easily and be fooled by a woman's trick. And the next plot is resolution. In the end, young men don't get acquainted with beautiful women, and the old man like to give good lesson to the young man. The next slide, we have a point of view. The story used the first person point of view because it used the pronouns I, me, my, we. So this means the author is person in the story, telling the story from their own point of view. The quotation of this point of view is the first, under my persistent gaze, she turned her head toward me. And the second, I was just going to give him some short answer when the boat stopped. We were at St. Claude. And then, one morning on walking, I saw from my window the blue sky glowing in the sun above the neighboring house. I think it's enough. Thank you for your listening. I'm sorry if I have a mistake. So, bye-bye.